So tonight, Mr. Rochester and I watched the Hudsucker Proxy. He watched it with me. He really did this time. It's kind of a mess. It's the Coen brothers, and they co-wrote it with Sam Raimi, and apparently they wrote it in the early '80s after they were working, when they started living together after working on The Evil Dead, and then it got shelved because it was an expensive project, and Blood Simple happened, and Raising Arizona happened, and um, Miller's Crossing, and then obviously Barton Fink. And so after all of those successes, they were able to make this film with Warner Brothers and Joel Silver. And it's supposed to be sort of an homage to the screwball comedies of the 30s and 40s, only it's set in the late 50s, which already is a bit of an issue, I think. And so it's supposed to be like a little Hawksian and a little Preston Sturges-y and a little Frank Capra-y, but also supposed to be like hard-hitting, like something like Sweet Smell of Success. But the problem with it is, one, again, it's the late 50s, so the screwball-y comedy aspects, it's very 30s, but it's set in the 50s, which I don't think quite works. And then the fake, cityscapes feel very Metropolis-esque, instead of, I don't know, it just doesn't quite work. And I really didn't like the Jennifer Jason Leigh character. She's doing this Katharine Hepburn accent, but it just doesn't work. And she's, like those actresses like Jean Arthur and Katharine Hepburn and Rosalind Russell, they really had a little like spark about them that Jennifer Jason Leigh just doesn't quite have. And I just feel like it was not a very good performance at all. And then Tim Robbins is trying to be Gary Cooper, I think. Like, mostly he's trying to be Gary Cooper, and he's got that tallness that's going for it, Gary Cooperness. But it just, I'm not even a big Gary Cooper fan, but like this just felt like a bad Gary Cooper impersonation. I don't know. It was just a mess. Like, it felt like The Curse of the Jade Scorpion is a Woody Allen movie where he really tried to homage something, but it felt like a pastiche. It felt like a shallow, like, copy of these great films, and rather than a sort of reinterpretation of them. And in both cases, you have the everyday guy, and then you have the like working girl woman who's got ambition and wants to be, as they quote in this, one of the guys. But it felt insulting the way that they handled the character in this film. And in those movies, often the woman ends up giving up her career or putting her ambitions aside a little bit for the man. That's part of my problem with a lot of the Katharine Hepburn, Spencer Tracy movies, is that happens a lot, and it's just depressing. And it's like they could have, because this is 94. Think about this. 94, there's a huge rise of powerful women in the movies in 94, in the 90s. Like, I grew up watching a lot of great 90s ladies, badass ladies, and there was a whole upswing of women who started working like in the late 70s into the 80s, and then suddenly had all these power figures in the work world for women in the 90s, and they could have done some sort of parallel with the two and commented on it or something, but instead she just felt like a very one-dimensional sort of character. I don't know. It feels like it's a script that they wrote when they were young and then got to make when they were more established, but didn't update the script well at all. It's kind of depressing. But it visually, because they are such great filmmakers, visually it's beautiful, and there's some great shots in it. But it's just like, spoiler here. It ends with, a Deus Ex Machina, like, majorly, and it's like, did they really, like, they couldn't come up with a better, I don't know. I was just not a big fan. I didn't hate it. This review sounds a lot sourer than, it's just sort of like you want better, you know, like mid-level. You wish it was better with all the talent involved. I did like Paul Newman, though. He's always good as a villain, because he's a bit of a bad boy always. He's no Lionel Barrymore, though, I'll tell you that much. It did have a really hot, like, scene for, like, a second with Peter Gallagher. Could watch that for the whole 110 minutes over and over, just Peter Gallagher. I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But, so it's a good New Year's movie, though. It opens and closes on New Year's Eve. Kind of. Should have waited. Oh, well. Yes. Hudsucker Proxy, 1994, Coen Brothers. Yeah. That's what Mr. Rochester has to say, too. Right? Yeah.